Hi, everybody. Today is January 8th, Friday. Um, it's the last day before the national championship game, and let's go Bucks. And I hope the Bucks play well and have a good game, and I hope they have enough people. I know they're having some COVID issues, but we'll keep our fingers crossed for the home team. Remember, today is the last day of the second 9 weeks. So when we begin the new quarter on Monday, remember Monday's a virtual day, so you're going to log in from home. No one comes to school on Monday, but you log in with your meet codes at the time that the class normally starts. So first period, be there by 8:45. Log in with your first period teacher meet code and start class. Since it's the third 9 weeks, you're going to have a new teacher for related arts. You should definitely find out today, either by going on Infinite Campus on your own, asking your current related art teacher what you're doing next quarter if you don't know. But you'll have to go on Monday virtually to the new related arts teachers class at that time with their meet code. Okay, so make sure you know what that is. Ask before the day's out today so that you know on Monday what to do. I've got two this days in history. I'll try to make both of them kind of quick. One of them's significant and the other's interesting. Well, they're both interesting. One's more significant than the other. I'll start with the one that's significant. This day in history, on January 8th, 1867, African American men gained the right to vote in Washington, D.C. So the District of Columbia is kind of a unique area in the United States. It's a federal district. It doesn't belong in any state. So it's not in Maryland. It's not in Virginia. It's a federal district. So when the amendment was passed, it was the Voting Rights Act in 1965, when African American men got the right to vote in the United States. So that was 1965. Immediately after the Civil War, in Washington, D.C., the rules somehow were different. And so Congress passed a law, and it was a Republican-controlled Senate, overrode a veto. So there was a law that was passed for African-American men to vote in the District of Columbia, went to President Johnson. He vetoed it. He said, no, I don't think so, which sent it back to the Senate, and the Senate voted to override. So they had to have a 2/3 majority in the Senate to override the president's veto, and the vote of 29-10 was finally passed. And in the District of Columbia, African American men got the right to vote. So below here, you can read a little bit more about it. There's a lot of interesting things with Andrew Johnson, who really was trying to, he wasn't a big fan of Reconstruction. He did some things that opposed the 14th Amendment, which freed slaves, citizens, and did some other things that, definitely continued the subjugation of African Americans in the United States for years to come, even after his presidency. But you can read a little bit more about that in the announcements below. But the other this day in history that I have here, so this is also about the Civil War a little bit. So a widow, so everybody knows, a widow is a woman who was married at one time, but their husband died. Okay, so they survived the death of their husband, and they are alive now. So a widow would be a woman whose husband died a while ago. So just recently, the last Civil War widow died. This was in December 2020, so just a couple weeks ago. So how is this possible, you might ask? Because the Civil War ended in 1865. How was someone still alive who was married to a Civil War veteran? Okay, so here's what happened. This 93-year-old man who was in declining health lived next door to this family who had several children, one of which was a 17-year-old schoolgirl who would go next door and give aid to and help with chores around the house to this elderly man who lived next door. That man, 93 years old, fought in a unit out of Missouri in the Civil War. Okay, so he was a Civil War veteran, still alive in 1939. Well, they got talking, and he said, if I die, my wife would get my Civil War pension. It was right after the Great Depression. And so this family was destitute. And this woman was thinking, well, this might be a way for me to help my family out with money. When this 93-year-old man dies, I can get the U.S. pension because it goes to the widow. The pension would go to the widow. So they secretly married. She was 17, he was 93. So she's lived now, just for the record, it was strictly a wedding out of this need to get the pension. Okay. There was no love or, you know, amorous feelings between the two of them. It was strictly the man wanted to take care of her. He thought this would be a way to do that. She was so racked with guilt that she never told anybody until the last couple of years of her life that she was married to this man at all. She never collected the pension from the U.S. government. She felt too guilty about it. But the fact is, they were married for almost 3 years, and she just died at 101. So she lived 101. He lived 93, and they married at 17 when she was 17. The last U.S. Civil War widow just died a couple weeks ago. Interesting. Okay, that's all I've got. Listen, go Bucks. Have a great weekend. Have a great day. We'll see you on Monday, and then in person, some of you on Tuesday. Take care.